Ladies and gents, welcome to the season finale of Setup Wars. This will be the final episode of season 6, which means episode 331 will be the beginning of season 7 with a brand new intro, which a lot of you have already started working on. I can't wait to see what you're cooking. But yeah, with that said, sit back and relax and let the season finale begin. So you just finished building a PC and you're greeted with this horrendous message on your screen. Well, fear not, because I have an easy solution for you guys. Head on over to yourcdkey.com and pick up a Windows 11 or Windows 10 Pro CD key for around 15 bucks. Just put in the code TS20 to get that extra 20% off, and afterwards they will email you the CD key, and all you have to do is go into your activation settings on Windows and put it in. Afterwards, the watermark will disappear and you can enjoy all the features from Windows. Kicking off the episode is Simon and his very unique custom modded desk, which was inspired by Esther's setup on episode 223. She too had a similar desk with the PC built inside. So Simon is a student from Switzerland that spent a year and a half on the desk itself. He started by designing the desk in CAD, and then he ordered all the wooden panels to begin assembling the desk. He really liked the look of the IKEA Alex drawer, so he modeled the unit to take after the same design with 3 drawers on the bottom. Now that I think about it, it actually looks like a combo between an IKEA Linneman tabletop and an Alex drawer. The entire table is made out of MDF wood, but you can't tell because he wrapped it in black vinyl and added a glass panel on the top for the PC. We got cutouts on the side for the rear I/O, where all the cables are passed through a couple of racks and into his 34-inch ultra-wide monitor. For peripherals, Simon is rocking a custom GMMK TKL with lubed Aqua Kings, and he's got that paired with a Razer Viper 8K mouse and a dope TS Topo black mousepad to tie the whole theme together. Judging by the size of the mousepad, it looks like you're using our first generation production pads, which had horrible stitching quality, by the way. It's pretty obvious from the pictures too. Last year, we actually moved over to a different distributor in the UK, and since then we've been selling better quality pads with much better stitching that lasts longer. So I do want to send you a brand new fresh black Topo mousepad for your setup. So if you're watching this video, hit me up on Discord. For audio, he's rocking a set of Bose Companion 2 speakers for the primary source, but he does switch over to the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros for gaming that he keeps underneath the desk. The PC powering the setup is a semi-water-cooled build featuring the Ryzen 9 3900X and the MSI RTX 2070 Super. He did make cutouts in the front for 3 intake fans, and then he made 3 more in the back for exhaust. Perfect neutral pressure inside the case with a custom LCD monitor to display hardware information. I love that even the PCI riser cable matches the black and red color scheme. The only issue I see with this is upgradability and maintenance, right? Like the reservoir is laid out sideways, which means it's going to be very difficult to drain and refill the entire system. I mean, you would have to tilt the entire desk sideways to do this, making it difficult to upgrade the CPU and the motherboard. But you know what? It's still a very impressive desk mod regardless, and I'm very happy to see the show inspiring others to create their own custom setup. Thank you, Simon, for starting off the show. Changing up the pace a bit, we're going to be looking at a decked out racing sim cockpit as the primary setup, because we haven't really done that before on the show. I mean, we've seen a lot of racing sims before, but they were all secondary setups. Well, this is the first time that we're going to be shining the light on Michael's insane sim racing rig, because it simply overshadows the simple work from home setup that he built. I mean, it's not a bad setup by any means. In fact, the monitor here is also connected to his other PC from the racing sim, so he can still play any game he wants, along with the PS5 console, which is tucked underneath the desk next to the Mac M1 Studio, which is mostly used to edit his videos. When Michael is done managing accounts, he hops on over to the sim setup that's fully decked out with triple 32-inch 1440p monitors from LG, combined with the Asus Bezel Free Kit, which isn't exactly the best solution to get rid of bezels, but it is the only solution that we have, and honestly, it doesn't look too bad. Looks like the cockpit and the chair are both from Track Racer, while the wheel and shifter are from Fanatec. He's also got 2 fully maxed out Stream Decks on both sides of the wheel for car controls, in-game settings, and PC shortcuts. With triple 32-inch 1440p monitors, you best believe you're gonna need a high-end system to run this setup. And well, he didn't disappoint. This behemoth is equipped with a 13900KF processor, 32 gigs of RAM, and the Zotac RTX 4090, which should keep him satisfied for at least a year or two. I know he's planning on upgrading to triple 4K monitors for the Sim setup, and by that time, he would most likely swap the 4090 to an RTX 5090, but time will tell. Apart from the setup, I love the way he decorated the rest of the room with a Porsche theme, considering he's a huge fan of the car brand and the racing team. It's only fitting to display all these models and collectibles. I think they did an excellent job putting together both setups and decorating this entire room to reflect your personality. This is the type of racing sim setup I aspire to build one day. Thank you, Michael, for sharing this with us. This next setup is extremely inspiring for many reasons. You see, Mika is a student from Germany who watched Setup Wars for a few years and decided to build one himself back in 2018. And since then, he has made modest upgrades over time. The desk is custom made, and it looks like a headboard was attached directly to a custom steel bar that was welded into a motorized base. This way he's able to lift the entire setup together. That is actually genius. All three of the monitors are hooked up directly to the headboard, along with a streaming camera and the headphones on the right. And below that, we got wireless peripherals. The Logitech G915 TKL paired with a G Pro X Superlight mouse and a numpad for when he needs to deal with numbers. I would recommend picking up some small acoustic stands for your speakers so that they are tilted a bit higher towards your ear. These will also prevent the speakers from vibrating. And maybe bring the Go XLR Mini in the center so that it's within reach, along with your Elgato Stream Deck and audio controller. I do love the mic location though. Using the Rode boom arm, he's able to bring the mic over towards the top without blocking the view of the monitors. I love the attention to detail with the cable management. Mika really put in the extra effort here and made holes to pass through all the cables from his gear, and he managed all the wires behind his monitors. Like, you can't even see a single loose wire from the front. Powering the entire setup is a custom modded PC featuring the Ryzen 7 2700 and the Gigabyte GTX 1080. Mika designed a CPU symbol for the front of the case that his dad laser engraved for him at work. Even small mods like creating a mount for his audio controller and custom storage shelves on the wall just reinforces how much love and care he puts into his setup. I got a feeling this is someone who wakes up with excitement and happiness every day to be able to sit in front of this setup to game or watch content or do whatever. Like, this is what I love to see. Also, you look a lot like Connor from season 8 of Setup Makeover. I don't know why, but thanks for coming on the show. Coming in number 4 is Nicholas from Sweden and his wholesome family setup that was inspired by Setup Wars. He built setup for browsing the web and casual gaming. He built a giant custom U-shaped desk out of 3 Saljin countertops where he, his wife, and daughter can have their own dedicated area. On the left side is the wifey setup that's powered by a pre-built HP Pavilion that's kept underneath the desk on a wall shelf. She mostly uses this for browsing the web and casual gaming. Moving on to the center area is where his 3-year-old daughter does her crafting and painting. And finally, the Papa Bear setup is where Nicholas kicks back to play games and watch videos. We got a 34-inch ultrawide as a primary and a 24-inch in vertical mode that's pushed off to the side. For peripherals, he's rocking a Vermillo keyboard and a Logitech G903 mouse with a custom coil cable that runs across the desk and into the acoustic panels that he attached on the wall. I noticed there are speakers on Nick's setup, which is probably used to play music for the whole family while everyone is using their setup, but he does have a headset too if he needs a bit of privacy. While the wifey is rocking a pre-built system, Nick has a pretty decked out PC with a 10700KF processor and the Asus TUF RTX 3080. This has been one of the more wholesome setups we've seen on the show lately. Thank you, Nicholas, for sharing this with us. This last setup is absolutely stunning. I love the presentation here. You can't help but just stare at it. The colors work seamlessly together and the setup is nicely organized with symmetry in mind. So Zach is a business intelligence analyst from Ohio, and he wanted a happy place where he can relax after work, get his game on, and do a bit of content creation. So he spent the 6 months after moving into his new house to build himself an escape from reality. We got an ultrawide as the primary, stacked on top of a smaller 15-inch portable monitor for multitasking. I absolutely love this monitor layout, and I highly recommend it to anyone that's going with a dual monitor setup with an ultra-wide as your primary. Because you got your ultra-wide on the top as your main display, which you probably use for everything, like browsing the web, watching movies, and editing videos. And the bottom, smaller display can be used for reference material or your music player. But if you're gaming on the ultra-wide, you can use a second display on the bottom for multitasking instead of having to alt-tab out of your game. And from an ergonomic standpoint, this has the best field of view if you're using a primary ultra-wide monitor. Moving down to peripherals, we got a custom GMMK Pro paired with a Model O. And it does look like he's got a few other custom boards for display. It doesn't seem like there are any speakers for the setup, just the SteelSeries Arctis 7s that he's got on the desk, which by the way is made out of 2 Carbly countertops to form an L desk with a couple of Alex units for support. The other side is the entertainment setup where he's got a 55-inch 4K TV hooked up to his PS5 console. I just love how both sides blend nicely together. There is a seamless transition from one setup to the other. Zach definitely didn't disappoint in the decorating aspect. Nor did he disappoint in the cable management. Excellent use of the Signum racks to help keep the loose wires together. And powering the entire system is a beautiful custom build featuring the Ryzen 7 7700X and the Gigabyte Aero RTX 4070 Ti. Really good choice of parts to stay consistent with the whole white theme. A fantastic setup, no doubt. Thank you, Zach, for sharing this with us. As always, guys, let me know in the comment section which of these setups was your absolute favorite from today's video. If you guys are excited for Season 7 of Setup Wars and you're excited to check out the new intro, let me know by tossing a like before you head out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.